Hello everyone, welcome to the CTV News on Calabash TV and on the Wave Radio 94.5. I am Melissa Joseph. Prime Minister Dr. Kenny Anthony led a team of cabinet ministers to survey the damage and to meet with business and homeowners, residents and emergency officials down in Soufriere. The Member for Parliament of Soufriere, Forces Jacques, that Harold Dalson is out of state at this time, but he has said he's going to cut his trip short with immediate effect to return home. The Prime Minister was joined by the Deputy Prime Minister and the Minister for Infrastructure, Philip J. Pierre, as well as the Home Affairs Minister, Philip Lacobiniere, and the Minister for Commerce, Emma Hippolyte, who herself is from Soufriere. The Prime Minister praised the Royal St. Lucia Police Force, the St. Lucia Fire Service, and the citizens of Soufriere for their quick response to that massive fire. But for their intervention, an already tragic situation could have escalated. The Soufriere Fire Service received backup from VA4, the crash fire hall at the Hiranora International Airport, the Castries Station, and the Marine Unit of the police force. The St. Lucia Fire Service says it received a distress call about 11:58 p.m. on Thursday.
Many of the houses around this building is wood and quite old buildings, I may add. So the fire quickly spread, started moving south of that building. And of course, those of us who were on the scene when the fire was at its peak would know that some kind of divine intervention, some kind of miracle happened here, because a lot of us would have accepted that the entire block would have gone down after we saw what the firemen were up against. And I must say the firemen who came from Soufriere, Beaufort, I think also Miko responded, did a fantastic job in containing the fire. And we need to thank God again for the fact that there are no reports of any lives lost in this tragedy. And of course, Soufriere has been through its own set of tribulations and trials. And I'm sure our people will pull together again and come back and help one another and restore this beautiful community back to maybe even a better state than what it was. I want to say thank you to all the people who helped, people who assisted the fire service and the security services.
The only good thing about this, we have not lost any lives so far, the information that we have. So we have to give God thanks for that. He has given us the strength to build. He has taken it away, and He too will give us the strength to build again. So the people of Soufriere today, you could see they're anxious, but as long as you have life, you have strength. And that is where we are. I have spoken to Honorable Harold Dalson last night, this morning, during all of this. He's anxious, he's in Venezuela.
This could not happen at the worst time, because we are on the eve of Christmas celebrations. And I'm certain that the business owners had plans for their businesses. So it's really a tremendous loss for them. And of course, there are some aspects of this that are encouraging. First, I want to take the opportunity to really congratulate the St. Lucia Fire Service, the men and women of the fire service from Soufriere to Beaufort. Everyone has told me that they did an outstanding job in very difficult circumstances, because the water pressure was very low. A call was made to the fire service in Beaufort. They arrived on the scene. And many of the residents told me, had it not been for the support from Beaufort, the fire would have been far more extensive. So I want to congratulate the men and women of the fire service, and it is comforting that, having arrived here, they were on the scene trying to put out the last remaining flames, last remaining fires in the buildings that have been destroyed. So I want to thank them. Secondly, the people of Soufriere, despite the damage, the destruction, despite the fact that the fires consumed so many buildings, they remain very hopeful and resilient. And again, I want to thank them, because they got together to address this problem. They attempted to work together, give support to the fire service, to do the best to save houses and, of course, the contents of the houses. And despite disasters, when people can come together, work together in the interest of their community. This is something always to be appreciated, because it could have been worse had it not been for the support of the members of the community.
And Prime Minister Anthony said the area is important to the landscape of Soufriere. Livelihoods have been lost and the security of residents shaken. He assured that government will be there to assist.
I pray and hope that the persons who own the buildings, particularly the J.Q. Charles family, would consider rebuilding this area. Of course, it's too early in the day to look into the future. Certainly the government of St. Lucia would attempt to assist the house owners, the distressed house owners. They have taken this very hard. Some of them have just renovated their homes, and you know, when these things happen, to destroy all your life's efforts, it's even more difficult to accept and to understand. But I've had to comfort a few of them and to emphasize that we would be available to assist once we have received the fire reports. But I would want to launch an immediate appeal to the public to help them, particularly those who have lost their clothing, food, etc. The people of St. Lucia were magnificent when we had that disastrous fire in the Mangin View Fort. They responded as usual with their concern, as usual with their anxiety to help out others in distress. And I would hope that as Christmas approaches, they would come to the rescue of the families here jointly with the government of St. Lucia. And I would try and launch this appeal as quickly as I could.
Prime Minister Dr. Kenny Anthony.